are the 4 potential trade destination spots for Kirk Cousins. Michael Penix is in. Kirk Cousins is out. There's a lot of speculation. The Falcons suck. The Falcons GM needs to be fired. Kirk Cousins needs to go to a team that respects him. Blah, blah, blah. Here's where it comes down to. Here are the 4 potential places that I think Kirk Cousins needs to go, because it will help not only the Atlanta Falcons, but also the team that he's going to in the future. Now, before I get to it, please stay with me, because I have to give some details on how this is possible. Kirk Cousins signed a no-trade clause, which means he needs to be notified and give a thumbs up to where he wants to be or where he's going to be traded. Now, this could work out with the Atlanta Falcons' favor, because essentially it saved the Atlanta Falcons $27 million to trade him. Now, why would Kirk Cousins give a thumbs up on a no-trade clause? If he just declines the no-trade, basically he's guaranteed $60 million, and then he chooses to the team he wants to go to. Now, we've seen this with Russell Wilson. I call it the Russell Wilson move, where if Kirk Cousins say, look, I'm good, pay me my money, cut me, and then I'll go to a situation, there is no guarantee that Kirk Cousins will start in the NFL ever again. He could be like, it could be the Russell Wilson situation where he comes in, he sits behind Justin Fields, and then he eventually plays. But I'm going to be honest, the way Kirk Cousins has been playing recently, who knows if he can win or beat out another player for a starting job. Now, if he wants to be a starter, and this is the reason why Kirk Cousins would opt out and be traded, essentially, opt in to be traded. If he wants to be a starter on an NFL team again, he would 100% vote to be traded, because that team who he's going to be traded to will potentially be putting in some investment. They will be putting draft capital, and they will be paying Kirk Cousins' salary, which is $27 million. And because of that, for a team to do all of that, they are more likely, I wouldn't say 100% guaranteed, but they are more likely to start Kirk Cousins and would like for him to play in the future, because they have invested in Kirk Cousins, and they want to get a return out of their investment. Now, here are the teams really quick. Team number 1, Tennessee Titans. Brian Callahan is the new coach of this team. He wants to go in a different direction, and he's seen Will Levis, and we've all seen Will Levis just fall short of the mark. We've seen the memes about Will Levis, and we've seen Brian Callahan just hitting his head, not understanding what Will Levis is doing. To stabilize this team going forward, you bring in Kirk Cousins, who at least will be a locker room guy, and he will help, I say, elevate this team to see how good is this team. The most important part of this whole situation, especially with the Tennessee Titans, is identifying the players that you have on the roster, especially on the offensive side. And Kirk Cousins could stabilize the team to see and allow the GM and coach to see how good the team is actually. If you have Will Levis out there, you not only have to evaluate Will Levis, but you have to evaluate other players, and you really can't see how good the other players are, especially with the inconsistencies of Will Levis, if that makes sense. Team number 2 is the New York Jets. That is a dumpster fire up there. Aaron Rodgers, I don't even know if he's playing football anymore, but he's especially not playing for the New York Jets. Their owner has basically fired everybody and everything, and here's where it comes down to. To stabilize that team, I keep talking about stabilization, because Kirk Cousins, at the end of the day, could give a locker room presence, and he could help stabilize a locker room. And to stabilize that team, you got to have a guy like Kirk Cousins who will come in, be a professional, and do what he's supposed to do. And like I said, it will allow this team to have an opportunity to evaluate the talent on their roster. Kirk Cousins has a high floor, and at least you'll get this out of Kirk Cousins. And that will help this team evaluate the roster going forward. Now, why wouldn't that happen? The New York Jets have just did a wholesale for their organization. So not only are they looking for a new coach, they're looking for a new GM. And the new GM and the new coach could potentially not want Kirk Cousins, and that's fair. But I will list the New York Jets as a potential team for Kirk Cousins because of just their current crapshoot and their current dumpster fire they got going on the roster right now. Third team, you don't have to go far, because this is the New York Giants. And here's why the New York Giants will want Kirk Cousins, depending on how Michael Penix plays. If Michael Penix comes out and straight up lights it up, a lot of GMs, a lot of teams will look to that kind of mold of, we're going to bring Kirk Cousins in to train up the young player, and then we're going to play our young player, essentially. We all know that the New York Giants have been linked to a quarterback. If it's Cam Ward, if it's Drew Sanders, whoever it is, a lot of people are saying they are going to draft a young quarterback. And if the situation happens and if it works out with Michael Penix, a lot of teams are going to be looking to use that kind of mold of having Kirk Cousins come in for a year and then having the rookie quarterback play right after him. And Kirk Cousins, like I said, at the end of the day, is a great professional. He's a great locker room guy, and he will help quarterbacks learn and study for a game. Now, he may not be the best in regards to executing the strategy, but at least he'll help them get the strategy correct. And it will be a good situation for Sedor or Cam Ward to come in, learn from Kirk Cousins, learn how to execute and be a professional at the next level. And I think that's what would be a potential draw for the New York Giants to sign Kirk Cousins. Also, $27 million contract, and it's done after a year. Why would you not get that? I mean, it's just a fair contract that basically puts him being paid at the bottom half of the league in regards to quarterbacks. Last team, and this team I think is the most shocking team to a lot of people because this is a current playoff team, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks are right now in the playoff hunt. I think they will host a playoff game if the season ended today. And a lot of people are saying, why would they need Kirk Cousins? Well, the situation with Geno Smith is not great. They basically both have agreed to disagree, and they said, we haven't signed a contract. We're not going to sign a future contract. We're not going to send Geno. And from there's going to be a lot of questions going forward. Do they start Sam Howell? And to alleviate those questions, I would trade for Kirk Cousins because, like I said, he stabilizes the roster. He makes less. He'll make less than Geno, and he's kind of a 1 to 2 year deal. And if the Seattle Seahawks need him, he has shown he can execute at a high level. Now, the Seattle Seahawks has a playoff roster team right now, playoff ready team right now, and I would hate for them to be, right in the playoffs 1 year and then take an extreme dip, and that's because of quarterback play. Because Sam Howell is a good quarterback, but we don't know what Sam Howell we're going to get from him, and we, like I said, know what version of Kirk Cousins we get week after week. Now, those are the 4 teams that I think he potentially could go to. Here is a weird situation. If Kirk Cousins decides to not be traded, and if he gets cut by the Atlanta Falcons, there is a potential for him to go back to the Minnesota Vikings if Sam Darnold decides to move on to another team. Wouldn't that be crazy? But if there's a team that I missed, leave a comment down below. Let me know. I'll do some research in it. And if you agree with one of these 4 teams, put the team down in the comments below. Let me know. I want to see how many people think he's going to go where. But unfortunately, Kirk Cousins is probably no longer an Atlanta Falcon. But if you agree or disagree with me, like I said, leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, like me calling out Kirk Cousins being traded, being benched about, maybe a day before he got benched. Check this one out right here. And like always, peace.